and welcome to a PCPartPicker showcase and tutorial. So today we're looking at how PCPartPicker works if you ever wanted to figure it out on your own. So basically what PCPartPicker is it lets you build your own PC, lets you compare all the parts in the basically all the parts in the world almost, and how they fit together, how they'll work together, so that way it takes all the guessing work out of hoping they all work together. So you can access PCPartPicker just by looking it up or by going PCPartPicker.com. Yeah, and so it starts off by mainly the location selector. So because it shows price part values, it's best to choose your home location. So mine is Canada, so I've chosen Canada. But since most people are in the United States, you can go right here, press United States. What it's going to do is it'll refresh the page, and now all these price values you can see probably got changed here because they are now in American dollars. So scrolling down the page, there's just some completed builds here. So PCPartPicker has the ability to share your builds, and then just their general stuff at the bottom. So you can also have your builds featured, right as this one is right here, our featured build. And so that's basically just the most popular build of the time, one they think looks really cool. So the main tool that most people use is this PC Builder icon right here. So you click on it, and it gives you PC Builder a link to your list, so you can actually share all the lists that you've ever made on PCPartPicker. PCPartPicker saves them for you. And it also has links to convert them to HTML or Markdown. And there's also a history section over here, which lets you see the editing history of the part list. Now, we'll talk more about this compatibility and wattage thing later. But for now, we should scroll down here. So it gives you all the different parts of the computer, as well as the ability to add them all together. So we'll start, you click this choose a CPU button to start with our CPU, and we get the selection page. So in the selection page, there's a part list. There's a compatibility filter. So what that means is it'll compare these listings here to other things you have already in your part list. And then it'll say, okay, well, if you have an Intel motherboard, you can't put an AMD CPU in an Intel motherboard. As simple as that. And then this just gives you some information about your part list. So how many parts you have, how much money it costs, and the estimated wattage. So if you know you're trying to hit a certain wattage or hit a certain value, you know, okay, maybe I shouldn't spend too much on this, too little on this. Then as you scroll down here, there's some pricing option check marks. So the price can include, so the price on this side over here will include mail-in rebates. So if you mail something in, they give you money back. That's already included. And Amazon Smile links, so basically just they donate money if you use those Smile links. So scrolling down, there's some filters here, so we can select price. So let's say I want to only go up to $144 for my CPU. Now it's showing me price listings that are only $144 or less. Then we can choose between the different manufacturers. So I only want Intel CPUs. So I'm only getting Intel CPUs in this list. I only want AMD. Now I'm getting AMD and Intel, but let's uncheck Intel. And now I'm getting just AMD. And then there's also the ability to rate them. So I only want 5-star rated CPUs. So we get these ones up here. And then there's also, I can select my core count. So let's say I want ones, I can drag the bottom and the top. So I want 6 cores at least. Okay, well here's all 6-core CPUs, the Ryzen 5000 series. Our performance core clock, so we can select how many gigahertz it has. The wattage of the thing, as well as here you can select the different brands of chips. So there's tons and tons of options here. The microarchitecture, the core types and core families, also tons and tons of options on this one. The socket type, what kind of graphics it has, multi-threading, ECC support, and whether or not it includes a cooler. So I want ones that include a cooler because I don't want to spend money on a cooler, and all of them include a cooler. So let's start with this 5600 here. We're going to go add, press the big add button, and it adds it to our listing. So here we have this Ryzen processor. The base, it's got a $20 mail-in rebate, free shipping, no tax because it doesn't calculate tax, $129.99 at Newegg. And we scroll down here. Now it has a promo discount and a total for us. Now if we scroll back up to the top, you'll now see that there's an estimated wattage of 65 watts. So now we know we at least need a wattage of 65 watts for our power supply. So we already know that this one includes a cooler, so we don't need a CPU cooler. We're going to head to our motherboard now. And the motherboard window is much the same as the other one was. There's all these motherboards here and all these listings on the side. So let's say, you know what, I only want Asus or Gigabyte options. I want it to be a Micro ATX. and that's about it. So now let's use another feature. Here we're going to sort by price. So all of these things we can sort by. So we're going to go, okay, well now we're at the lowest rating. We want the ones that are highest rated. And then we're going to sort by our price as well. So highest rating, lowest price. Well, this Asus Prime right here looks pretty good. Got a lot of stars out of 14 reviews, 65 bucks. Let's press the add button. Okay, so now we have a red compatibility warning at the top. Right here, we can click our details button, and it'll say right here, the Asus Prime motherboard supports the Ryzen 5000 series processor with a BIOS version. If this is using an older BIOS version, upgrading the BIOS will be necessary to support the CPU. So what we've seen now is that there might be a compatibility warning, so it's letting us know. So yes, we might need to upgrade this. For now, this should be fine. We can ignore that as there's a likelihood that it'll have probably been updated already. Now, as I was down here, we see another feature. Now that we've added a motherboard, it shows the sockets in the motherboard and what you can add to them. So we can see right here that our motherboard has one CPU socket filled by one CPU. It has two RAM slots, an M.2 slot, some PCIe slots, some USB headers, and some SATA ports. So as we add features, those will show up on here to show that they're being filled. Here, I believe if we hover over it, we get a picture of what it looks like. Oh, maybe we don't. No. Oh, right there. There we go. PCIe X16, PCIe 2, PCIe 3. There we go. Just as we hover over the picture, we see what the slot looks like. Okay, sliding back up to the top of the page, let's check some memory. So we've added this now. We can see all of the memory that would fit with our CPU. And you know what, we're going to do big, so we're going to go 2x16. So I want Corsair memory because I think that looks the best. And I want 2x16 gigabytes, so I'm going to select that in the modules right here. And I want it black because black is just a great color. And now we're going to scroll back up to the top here. And so there's some RGB memory right here, 32 gigabytes, 2x16 for $100. That looks like a good price. It's got a lot of stars. And we just pressed add, and now it's all been added to our thing. So now if you scroll back down to the bottom here, we'll see our two DIMM slots have been populated by these two DIMMs. Now we go to our storage. So let's look at our storage project again. So on the storage page, there's the same options, same rating, capacity, and then there's this new selection, which is a type selection. So let's say my first one is going to be an SSD, and I want either a Samsung or a Crucial or a Western Digital. And I'm going to move this slider so that way it's at least 960 gigabytes to 2000 gigabytes. So I want either a 1 or 2 terabyte SSD. So we're going to move, I would suggest if you're using this that you move it to approximately those values, as some 1 terabyte SSDs list themselves as 960, some list as 1024, and some list as exactly 1 terabyte. So it's best just to put it as 960, and then if you want to put it at like 2048, 2100, so that you get in that range. So let's scroll back up to the top, and we'll see all of our options here. So we got a 980 Pro. This 980 Pro, oh, this is a 1 terabyte, that's a 2 terabyte. I was like, why is the price different so much? But yeah, oh, look, for this 2 terabyte 970 Evo Plus, we get almost, well, for $50 more, we get double the amount of storage. So I'm going to go with that one. I don't think it's going to be that much slower. And now we've added all that in. We're going to scroll back down, and look, our M.2 slot is populated by the SSD. Let's add a video card. So we're going to throw in, we want whatever brand is here. And then this is where we can choose our chipsets for our video cards. So let's say we want a 3070, any one of the 3070 options. Let's hope there's actually some in stock. And so look, we got all of these here. Well, we already have an Asus product, so let's go with this Asus one for $649. It's $30 cheaper than that option. And we've clicked and added it. Now, if we had multiple, if we had more memory slots, if we wanted to add more storage, or if we had multiple places to put video cards, there's these buttons here to add additional memory, add additional storage, and add additional video cards. So let's say, I'm going to go back. I actually want to add a SATA drive. So I got this Seagate Barracuda here, and that's probably not enough for me. Let's go with this 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda here for $67. I'm going to add that, and now I have all of this in here. And if we scroll down to the bottom, oh, look at that, one of our SATA ports has been populated. So Now what we can do is we can choose a case. So for this, this is one of the most important times that you probably want the compatibility filter on, as it'll match your case size to the size of your motherboard and to your components in your building, not in your building, in your PC build. So let's go, we're going to do a micro ATX mini tower because we have a micro ATX board. And we're going to look through here at this case right here. Oh, it's $59.99. And this one's $50.98. I think we'll go with this one right here. Let's check. And now 2 of our headers are being used. And that's all good. Going back up, so now we got a case. We can continue to see our total down at the bottom here, 1,243, as well as some promo and discounts. So now our last thing is we're going to choose a power supply, the last thing that we need. And let's check our estimated wattage now. So we see we're at 469 watts. So this is good to keep in mind when we're looking at our power supply. So let's say we probably want about 500 to 600 watts because it would be important to have some extra room. So we're going to send it to about 550 and let's limit it at 750. 800, we'll go 800. And I want a Corsair PSU. That's going to limit me up at the top here. So I got a 750 watt, 80 plus platinum for 164, 80 plus gold, 750 watt. I guess this is a small form factor. I don't really need a small form factor. Let's go with this RM right here for $100. So it's got 750 watts, which gives us lots of extra room. Means that since it's built to a higher standard, it will probably not need to spin up the fan as much for lower loads. So that's all good. So now what we've built with PCPartPicker is a basic PC. So we have all these files in here. We can add more customizations like a CPU cooler. We can add more things like this. And we can also see our budget at the bottom. So it's going to be $1,343.90. Let's say, you know what, that's a little expensive. I don't really need this hard drive. I'm going to delete that. We press the red X, it disappears, reloads the page, and look, now we're making even less money. There's also 2 more options at the bottom here that I didn't go over. So to choose an operating system, you can choose an operating system. I don't usually do that because they're free. And then we can choose a monitor. And there's also some extra things at the bottom. So sound cards, network adapters, headphones, keyboard, mice, speakers, webcams, and then case accessories, fans, stuff like that. Things that normally are just kind of extra on the side. You might not want to add those to your builds. However, case fans are probably pretty popular. So you can click the case fans link. And we're going to add a 3 set of Corsair IQ, I think. Oh, actually, let's check that one. How much are these ones? No, these ones are the same price. So let's do these ones right here. Okay, so now we spent our hard drive money on fans, which is arguably more important. Keep our PC cooler. And there we go. So now there's our completed build. Scroll down to the bottom here. So what it says is it will check. These are some things that it cannot check. So fan capability checking cannot be checked, which is fine. And there's some physical dimensions that are not checked, such as CPU coolers and RAM clearance. So on the chance that your CPU cooler is too low and your RAM is too high, you don't want them to hit each other. So it's saying we can't check that, so that's on your own risk. And then still just our thing about the motherboard needing to be updated. But that's a warning that we can continue with. As it says, it's a potential issue. We see all our options here. Everything's been filled. This slot has been covered, so we can't use this slot anyways. And there's this one over here. And so what we also see now is that there's a power supply connector usage one. So this shows all the connectors in the power supply. And so it's showing where all of these are going to be connected. So this is connected to the motherboard. This is connected to the GPU. One of these would have been connected to the CPU, or sorry, not to the CPU, to the hard drive. However, because we deleted the hard drive, they are not. And then so there's a case drive bay usage option as well. So there's 4 drives available, 2 3.5 and 2 2.5. None of them are being used. Finally, we have our part history graph here, which shows each of the parts and shows their relative value along this line. So we can see their value here, and we can see that they all kind of dip down a little bit here towards the end. They're more expensive up here. Everything's been kind of declining, so that's the kind of chart we want to see, stuff that's going down, not stuff that's going up. So now that we've built our PC part picker thing, our list, we can click this link, share it with other people, or we can view the history here. There we go. Here's all the stuff that happened. And look at that. It's even generated an individual list for when we had everything at this stage. So there's tons and tons of lists. I feel a pity for their storage system. And then if you have an account, you can go save as. and it'll save the list into your account. And then there's also an option right here, so we can start a new one. So let's say, you know what, I did this, but hey, I don't really like it. I'm going to overhaul it. We press start new, and look at that. Now we can start a brand new list. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If there's any other questions you have about PC Part Picker, feel free to reach out to the PC Part Picker team, which is available on the forums button over here, or drop a comment down below. Thanks for watching.